Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who's a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Happy Super Tuesday for any political pundits and political junkies out there, as I actually kind of am. I'm kind of a political nerd, even though I hate politics. I hate modern politics. I hate both major political parties. I really want us to have some more conversations in the country. I want to have some more conversations about policy, and I think that we need to have more voices out there. I'm still kind of just obsessed with it, so I'm currently watching some of the news coverage of it right now. The first polls are supposed to close in 3, 2, and 1. That's the kind of person that I am, though. Again, I'm trying to do multiple things tonight, so we're going to talk a little bit, of course. Super Tuesday, I'll, of course, talk about who I think's gonna, victory. And so Joe Biden has just won Virginia, so that'll be happening throughout the night. But also we'll talk about Star Wars because there's been a lot of Star Wars news. You have Rian Johnson, of course, coming out and saying, yeah, I don't respect canon and the history of Star Wars. Basically saying that in a recent interview, which again just goes to show you that he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care at this point in time. It really is not that big of a surprise. Let's see here. Ooh, too close to call in Vermont, according to the site that I'm watching right now. Isn't that interesting? What could possibly happen? Who knows? But that's what the night's going to be in. Is it going to have some political discussion? And again, nothing overtly political. Again, mostly just talking about the general feel of it. You all know I'm an independent person. But if you don't want to hear any politics or talk of politics tonight, this might not be the stream for you. But we are going to talk and try to sneak in some Star Wars talk in as well. But let me go ahead and shout out some people real quick. So what's going on, my D-Live fam? We got Mr. Roy over on D-Live. We got Captain Mr. Roy, rather. Captain Dean Heiss. We got ZK Man. What's going on, ZK Man? We got the D-Live fam in the house. Mr. Peabody's over that as well. Isn't that amazing? Captain Dean Heiss says, we already knew that about Rian Johnson. Yeah, what the great thing about Rian Johnson, as you say, is that I don't think he realized that we already knew that. I don't think that he understood that we already were able to figure that out by ourselves. But the fact that he actually had to come out and basically say it himself to confirm it, it just shows you just how crazy and how backwards everything is within Lucasfilm, everything is within Star Wars right now. And it just goes to show you that the dude is, the dude's full of himself and has no idea what he's talking about. What's going on, YouTube peeps? Mason Kalowski got here an hour early saying, thank goodness I got a good seat. Now I wait. Well, glad to have you here. Cobra Viber 999, Robert Fraze in the chat. Let's see, we got Glowing the Hobbit. Ooh, we had Dory the Hobbit. Now we have Glowing the Hobbit. Ooh, how's it going, Glowing the Hobbit? Tina, thank you for letting them know how to contact me. Tina is back from her cruise. Welcome back, Tina. Hope you had a wonderful time. But now we are on Super Tuesday. It is also, of course, a Tuesday. Therefore, it is the one-man low council as well. And, we're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully, having a lot of fun tonight. Of course, I will take comments and questions from the chat like I normally do. Let us see. We got Mr. Peabody over on YouTube as well. We got Josue Vagia. What's going on, Josue? Hypern X13 is here. G-Monkey76 is here. Let us see. Who else do we have here? We have member Alex McCarthy. What is going on, member Alex McCarthy? Hope you are doing quite well. Tina says, it wasn't Super Tuesday in Kentucky. If it was, I slept through it. Yeah, I don't remember if Kentucky was voting today or not. I don't think it was. But Tennessee was. I have my little I voted sticker. I do like voting. Because I do like being a part of the process. I think that if I'm going to complain about various things going on in the country or various politicians or anything like that, that I should be active, that I should be participating in it, right? And again, we have the right to vote. We have the right to make decisions that we want. But for me personally, I would find myself to be a hypocrite if I wasn't voting, but at the same time making a lot of political commentary as well. So even if I'm going to vote in a way where it's a protest vote, which is what I have been doing the last couple of election cycles, not going to lie. I'm not going to specify who I'm voting for, but what I will say this much is that I want political chaos. I want political chaos, and whatever I can do to get that to happen, I'm going to do, right? So I'm going to vote for the people that I think can provide that political chaos, even if it's not necessarily that I even want the person. It's that I know that this person getting this percentage or getting this amount of the vote means that they get delegates, or it means that they get this percentage of electoral college votes, or, whatever it is, whether it is in a primary election, whether it is in a caucus, whether I don't think I would ever have the I don't think I'd ever have the strength to do a full-out caucus, which is why I'm glad a lot of states are now kind of falling away from that practice. Or even if it's a general election, I like chaos. I think that we are a country right now that desperately needs a third party, fourth party, fifth party, right? I think that we need a lot more diversity in our politics, and I think that and that's something that I've always been very vocal about here, is that I don't like either major political party. I am not a huge fan of anyone really in the public arena at this point in time. I like certain things about certain people, no doubt about it, but at the same time too, I do like having some chaos here. So yeah, definitely happy to see everything. So Sanders is leading in Vermont, which is to no surprise. That is his home state. And Biden has been projected to win in Virginia, which is also not a big surprise either. He got endorsed by Tim Kaine, a failed VP candidate, by the way. And also, of course, it just is the central hub of so many Democratic voters and very mainstream, mainline Democratic voters. It's going to be actually interesting because I think what you're going to see tonight is that the Western states are going to overwhelmingly go Sanders, while the Eastern and Southern states are going to go Biden. What's interesting to me, or what I'm going to be following, is what kind of percentages are we seeing? For those that are not aware, in the Democratic primary system, the way that it works is that if you get 15% in a district or statewide, you get delegates automatically. You don't have to win to get it. Republican side usually has a mixture of the two. So they have certain ones that are proportional like that, where if you reach a certain threshold, you get a certain number of votes. But then at the same time, too, you also have the case where certain states are, you can win all, basically either by getting the majority of votes or if you get a plurality. So let's say you're in a Republican primary and you get the vast majority of votes, then you actually could win the entire delegation. You don't have to share votes, basically. So I kind of like that system a little bit because it makes the process go a little bit faster overall. But I do think that overall proportionality does make more sense to me. It is more fair, at least in a primary system, because when you think about it, that's kind of how the electoral college works in a lot of ways, right? If you win a state, you get those states' electoral votes, and the way that it works out, I think, ends up being the best for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like the electoral college. I'm actually kind of a fan. It allows other states in the nation to have a say, and we don't get run by all of those crazy giant cities on the coast, and I do like that. Tina B says, "Hail Odin," to quote Randy Quaid in Independence Day. "Hello, boys. I'm back." Damn right, Tina is back. Alice McCarthy says, "Howdy, Odin. How's it going? I'm having pizza and Rob Zombie Horror Nights on Shudder app with the missus. Sounds like fun." Let's see. Nathan Slay says, "Good evening to you, good sir." Good evening to you, good sir. Very happy to see you here. Hope you're doing very, very, very well. Tina, thank you for letting me know. Tina says, "I'm so behind on stuff and I don't even care. 47 days and counting until my next cruise." That's right. I forgot that you have two cruises very close to each other. So, wow, 47 days until Tina goes on another cruise. That's awesome. Very jealous of you. Very jealous of your cruise-going ways. GMungus76 says, "Hello. I've probably been voting Democrat since the day I was born in Chicago. Such a corrupt city." Yeah, and again, I think that that's what's great about the community here in Asgard is I think we have a lot of, people might not think it, but I think that our community especially has a lot of political diversity. And I like that, right? I like discussions. I don't like things just being one way, being overwhelmingly one way or the other. I like balance. I've always liked that. In fact, I've actually always kind of liked having mixed government, where one house is controlled by one party, one house is controlled by the other, because I like having that sense of balance. And if you don't have that, it's the reason why I like having things like the filibuster. I like having things where you can't just have mob rule. You can't just have the vast majority of people just, controlling everything in certain instances, right? Obviously, there are some things that I'm very passionate about that I think are beyond just political policies, where it comes down to being a moral case, right? Moral truth, as I would explain it. Obviously, when it comes to, the right to life, for example, I think that, you should have, obviously, a certain position on that. But that is neither here nor there. So it is interesting to see all of these things coming in, though. All right, let's go ahead. What do we got? Biff is giving the middle finger to Ryan Johnson. Hey, I think that a lot of people definitely feel that way. That is for sure. Let's see. Hypernex13 says, "Hi, Odin. How's it going? Just started driving lessons. It's cool once you start learning to drive. Feels like a dream." Very, very cool. I remember when I first started driving as well. Actually, one of the first times I drove a car was actually without my parents in the car. It was actually a friend of mine who let me behind the wheel of her car, and it was probably the worst decision that could have been made because I did not know how to use a brake. You know how when people first start driving and they're like slamming on the brake, like they're overcompensating and they really don't have to be slamming on it as much? That was me. That was the kind of driver that I was. Bruce says, it's a while away, but I might be at ChatCon January 2021, so coffee and a chat if I make it. Sounds good, man. That is a little ways away, but if I am free and available, absolutely, man. Absolutely. If you're ever in the my neck of the woods, you let me know. All right, you didn't tag me correctly, but Mads Mikkelsen, because I saw Brokered, which is what also, again, is of the theme tonight. He says, do you think that there will be a broker convention? Yes. Now, I think that tonight will get us a clear understanding of that, right? I think that if you see Biden take a lot more delegates than expected, if he's able to get 15% plus in a lot of states that Sanders does very well in, and wherever they end at the end of the night, I think that will tell us a lot, especially when you look at the states that are ahead, the path forward. So I think that I think 538 has been doing a lot of really great coverage of this, saying that the chances of a broker convention are up at like 60% based on they basically have a computer system where they run thousands and thousands of models. And about 60% of them said that there's going to be a brokered convention. So yeah, I do. The question, though, is how close are each candidate going to get? And are the super delegates, because here's the problem with the way Democrats run things, is that they've got these super delegates, which are basically party officials, which are basically establishment people, very anti-Bernie people, obviously. And I think that makes it kind of unfair, right? Because you have actual delegates, you have actual voters, and then all of a sudden you have these party leaders that can just come in and be kingmaker or queenmaker or whatever it is. And I don't like that, right? I like having the people have a voice. I don't think party leaders should have a say in who gets to be their candidate or not. I think it's the people overall that are voting in these primaries. But yeah. That is what I think about that. I think that there's a very high chance of it. Tina says, we usually vote in May, and I'm not a registered Dem anyway. Yeah, I'm a registered independent. Again, as I said, I've always been very clear on that. The great thing about Tennessee, the great state of Tennessee, I might say, and also, by the way, prayers obviously going out to Nashville. Thanks to everyone. There was a few people that reached out to me to ask if I was okay. Luckily, my area is not near, Chattanooga area is not near, not very close to Nashville. It's about maybe like an hour or 2 hours away. Far enough away where we were not affected, but prayers and thoughts definitely going out to everyone that was affected by the tornadoes last night. Luckily, it struck when I know that a lot of people have lost their lives, and obviously I'm praying for them and I'm praying for their families. But I will say that, you always got to try to find the good in it. And I'm glad that it hit at night when there weren't a lot of people in the places that got destroyed, because had it happened during the middle of the day, for example, the death toll could have just been so much higher. So again, my thoughts and prayers go out to anyone that was affected by that. And obviously everyone here in Asgard, I hope that you can all offer up your thoughts and prayers as well to everyone that was affected. But again, thank goodness that it happened when it did at the time it did, because it meant that a lot less people were affected. So definitely got to try and look to the bright side of things as we could. Bruce says, Kentucky, no voting today. Okay, so it sounds like probably in May. Bruce then says, I think Trump is a party unto himself. This is true. This is true, right? Like, obviously, you're going to have a lot of Republicans that like him a lot and say, like, he's their guy. But he really is his own person, That's why Bernie's his own person too, right? That's why if you end up getting Trump versus Bernie, those debates are going to be hysterical. I'm just going to say right now, they're going to be political theater, and it's going to be hilarious to see. But at the same time, too, you have two people that really aren't their own party, right? They're just themselves, right? It's almost cult of personality in a lot of ways. To quote one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite themes of one of my favorite wrestlers, CM Punk. That's for you, Alex McCarthy, if you're still listening. And it just really is that now. That's the world we live in, though. And that's kind of the sad thing, too, that we live in this cult of personality mindset where it's not about policy. It's not about, what's actually going to be good for people. It's instead who's got the biggest personality, who's got the biggest thing. Now, I will say this much. At the very least, if I could say anything positive about Bernie Sanders, it would be, hey, at least he believes in his principles. I think a lot of the principles that he stands for are just crazy and insane, but at least he stands for them, which is more than what we can say than for a lot of people currently running in the races in various places right now. So let's see. Gloin the Hobbit says, your thoughts on Top Gun Maverick, originally set to debut on June 26th, now to hit theaters on Wednesday, June 24th. You know what? I both love and hate that because, one, it means I get to see that movie sooner, which I'm so excited for because I think Top Gun 2 is going to be fantastic. However, I always hate when movies come out at a weird time because when they do that, it messes up the box office coverage. So as a box office guy, it ticks me off because I'm a box office bro and I need to have my numbers, and that just messes things up. It just makes things so much harder to predict and just goes, makes me go crazy. But yeah, I kind of have double feelings about that. All right, D-Lab people, I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about you. All right, let's see what's going on in D-Live. Mr. Peabody says, I have been blamed for stuff before, but no Australians can not vote in your elections. No, Peabody, you can't. I would not want you to. The K-Man says, the craziest thing is the majority of the country believes there is only two parties, which is why you rarely see other parties run. That is what the sad thing is. And I'm right there with you, man. That's why I want political chaos, because I would love for both major parties to have major problems and split. Because really they should. Really, you do see 2, 3, 4 parties in each of the major political parties. Then you've got people like the Libertarians, you've got the Green Party, you've got the Constitution Party, to a smaller extent. You've got the Reforms that have been around for a while. You know, you have a lot of these other third parties, and they're just never able to get any attention, right? The media won't cover them. And if you don't get media coverage, you don't get votes. And if you don't get votes, you don't get on the debate stage. Keep in mind, the most successful third-party campaign in modern history was when Ross Perot was on the ticket. And he was lucky because he had a lot of money and was able to basically buy all of this exposure. But also, guess what? He was in the debates. Imagine if you had a Libertarian or a Green Party member in the debates. Then you would have third parties winning electoral votes in modern day 2020 politics. Sadly, the modern parties, I think, have kind of learned the lesson of Ross Perot and have almost made it impossible because of their rules and because of all the restrictions they put on it for any third or fourth or fifth party to get access. It's really sad, and it ticks me off to no end because I want more voices out there. Captain Dean Heiss says, just sent you some digital codes in the mail. Expect them in a few days. Captain Dean Heiss, thank you very much, good sir. I appreciate it. Mr. Peabody says, do we need to rename Tina to SS Tina? At this point, Peabody, yes, SS Tina. Captain Dean High says, I just love when your teacher stomps on the floor from the passenger seat trying to hit the brake when you mess up. Captain Dean Heiss, yes. Oh, Lord. I had some of the worst driving instructors because they were all chain smokers. And the ones that actually I had to drive around with, they would just make me do their chores. They would make me drive them to the market and drive them to a convenience store. And I was like, really? That's what you're going to do? It was ridiculous. Peabody says, I was going to say your hair looks pretty good considering the winds in Tennessee. Oh, my hair is just not much there. And again, Captain Dean High says, Ohio votes in 2 weeks on St. Patty's Day. Ooh, very, very cool. Ohio, a very delegate-rich state, last time I heard. All right, jumping back over to the, where is it? The YouTube chat right over here. Tina says, and Bob Iger gave you a downvote. Ooh, Ryan just gave you one too. Really? I made it very clear about what this stream is about. It says Super Tuesday and Star Wars. And guess what? We've talked about both. And now I'm going to the will of the chat, as I tend to do. Bruce says the DNC will try and tank Bernie again. Watch. Oh, I agree. It's not a coincidence. Here's my theory. It's not a coincidence that you have people like Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg dropping out when they did. They did that because now it leaves that moderate lane open for Joe Biden. And guess what? He would not have done as well on Super Tuesday if they were still in the race. So what I think, and again, this might be my conspiracy mind. I don't usually dive into conspiracies except when it comes to politics because they usually tend to be true in politics. But I honestly think that the DNC basically is orchestrating all of this to get Joe Biden all this vote. And the only reason why Elizabeth Warren is still in the campaign is because they know she takes votes away from Bernie. If she drops out tonight, we have an entirely different race. If she stays in all the way and as long as she can, all she does is take away votes from Bernie. And I think that's going to be orchestrated by the DNC. I'm just saying it. You heard it here first. Conspiracy theory or not. Orange Eye Reviews says, in Heath Ledger Joker voice, you're an agent of political chaos. Yes, I am. Also, good to see you, and prayers for Nashville. Absolutely prayers for Nashville. And thank you, man. And yes, I am an agent of political chaos, or at least I'm trying to be. Rob D says, Odin, we need to bring back the Whig Party. Oh, remember when the Whig Party existed? We need to bring back so many things. So many things. Let's see. Eric Bosalile says, I'm not in favor of America becoming a multi-party system. I oppose political parties. America needs to become solely independent, infiltrate the Dem and Repub parties, and destroy them. Ooh, strong words from Eric. And I do think, though, that I agree with your overall statement, though, that, we should be more independently minded. That's definitely true. Let's see. Ooh, big shocker, everybody. Bernie Sanders is now projected to win Vermont. We expect that to happen, but needed some more of the vote to come in. So Sanders has won his home state of Vermont, everybody. Cheers, Bernie. Congratulations on winning your home state. Something that, by the way, you might not actually see happen with Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is in all likelihood going to lose her home state. Fun fact. Oh, man. There's some people where, they just bother me so much that it's just joy whenever something like that happens to them. But yeah, I agree. I think that every person should be individually minded as much as they can. But the reason why I'm in favor of multi-party systems is because I think we're more likely to get multi-party systems than the completely independent one. Because even if you destroy the parties, you're still dealing with very rich and powerful people that want to remain in power. So you're going to get some type of split happen, and it's going to be party line based. It's going to be based on the party, sadly enough. Eric, I understand and I agree with your overall sentiment that I think that we should have an independent system. But sadly, the parties run the show these days. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. Alex says, you like chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos. It's fair. Yes, absolutely. I love that quote there from Dark Knight. And you're right. Sometimes chaos can be fair. In this case, I definitely think it is. All right, chat jumped on me as I expected that it would, because we're talking about a lot of fun stuff tonight. I'm sure that some people are going to be tuning in saying, I don't want this at all. But again, I warned you with the title. Grandmaster Yoda says, how do you think the New Mutants will do? I think it's the next X-Men bomb. Well, seeing that, here's the thing. What Fox film, or now Fox 20th Century Studios film, it's no longer Fox, 20th Century Studios Disney production has done well that was originally under the Fox label? I can't think of a single Fox property that has been released since Disney took over that has not lost money. And some of them have lost big money, by the way. Call of the Wild, which I believe is a 20th Century production. Let me go ahead and double check that. I'm going to fact check myself on that one. Let's see. Call of the Wild, HD. Why did I put HD? Yeah, 20th Century Studios. That one's set to lose around $100 million. $100 million. I can't think of a single one that has done that. So yeah, do I think New Mutants is going to bomb? Yes, I do. Because it is, again, under that 20th Century Studios umbrella. And so far, none of those movies have been able to get anywhere. Eric Bosalal says, we need to vote based on ideas, not by political party. That I absolutely agree with. I don't like the mindset of I have to vote for this person or this way because of the R next to my name or because I'm registered with this person, right? This whole concept of party loyalty, I'm right there with you. That's why I am an independent. That's why I'm a part of one of the largest voting blocks, right? Independents make up most of America these days. And that's why I am where I am, because I do like independent thought. I think that there are some people that have good ideas, some people that have bad ideas, and I try and find the balance. Of course, I'm definitely more influenced by my Catholic viewpoints, right? As a faithful Catholic, that definitely kind of pushes me forward in a lot of different ways. But yeah, I try and stay as independent as I can. Nathan Slay says, am I the only one that enjoyed Knives Out here on this channel? Nathan Slay, I don't think you are the only one, right? I don't quite understand the enjoyment. It was I would say, competently made film, meaning cinematography, visual effects, things like that. But the writing, I just didn't think was very good. I just don't think it was very good. Hypern says, I might get some hate here, but in my opinion, diverse and diversity are the most overused words of the century. Yeah, definitely agree with you there. Tina says, I came within 45 minutes of finishing Ford v Ferrari on my Southwest flight home. I have to see the rest of it. I will bid cookies to get a digital code. What a great movie. I was actually thinking of doing a giveaway for Ford v Ferrari, but it is hard to find copies of that movie. It's actually hard to find the 4K version. I tried looking on Amazon for the 4K version of the movie, and it came up with only third-party sellers. And I was like, that movie was just released. What are you talking about? So I think it's selling very well on post-release, on DVD and Blu-ray, and definitely on 4K. Soul Assassin. Best way to deal with the election, we use a Thunderdome to pick the president. Oh, could you imagine? Oh, only if we can do it Mad Max style. Like full-out Mad Max style with those outfits and everything, yes. Tina says, if you register independent in Kentucky, you can only vote for the judicials and primaries. Oh, no. Yeah, in Louisiana, they also had close primaries, but you could easily switch your party about a week or two. I think maybe 30 days. There was some regulation, right? You could change your party, though, prior to whatever primary you wanted to vote in, and then you could just vote in that primary. So you could change your and I think it was actually in Louisiana, it wasn't 30 days. I want to say that it was actually very quick, like within a few days you can change your party. And they had a whole online system too. It was very easy to do. So I remember one year I changed my political party because I was independent, changed it to one because originally I was going to vote in one primary, but then the candidate that I liked ended up not making it past the first couple of states. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not voting for any of these people anymore. And so then I switched over to the other party. And I was like, ooh, yes, now it's time to try and sow some political chaos in here. Doing the best that I can. Let's see. Sharon Ferguson. Member Sharon Ferguson. Sharon Ferguson, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. I appreciate it. Says, just doing a drive-by. Howdy, Sharon Ferguson. Welcome to the channel. And thank you for stopping by. I've missed you. Alex McCarthy. Member Alex McCarthy says, CM Punk, he dropped a pipe bomb. Yes, he did. Stephanie B. Hey there, Chief. What's going on, Steph? What's going on, Stephanie B? Ooh, Keegan-Michael Key is endorsing Joe Biden. There's a video being played right now of Keegan-Michael Key with Joe Biden. So Hollywood supports Joe Biden. Rob D. Bernie's gonna be cruising down Manhattan on a giant pink cake throwing money at people with Prince playing in the background. Yes! Oh, yes. 89, was it 89 Batman? Oh my goodness, yes. Now, I would say I would travel to New York just to see that. Only if he were to go that way. If he were to become the Joker, yes. I would do that. Nathan Slay, what are your opinions on the movie Bloodshot? I've seen one preview for it. It looks okay. I'm not a huge Vin Diesel person though, so I don't have full plans to see it opening night, but who knows? Things could change. Tina says, I pump the brakes every time we land. I want to make sure the pilot gets us stopped. Jeremy Swiggs, don't worry, I'm here. Did you miss me? Jeremy Swiggs, always, man. Always. Hardwick. Ooh, Hardwick's throwing some fire. Hardwick says Sanders is phony. He even had millionaires split their large donations to him into tiny ones to make it look like many small donors. There's a great video by Mr. Reagan that covers this. Yeah, I mean, I don't follow too many political channels on YouTube because normally when I'm on YouTube, it's so hypocritical. Normally when I'm on YouTube, I usually am looking for content that is I actually do watch some political commentary, but I watch usually wrestling and movie stuff is normally what I look at on YouTube. Obviously supporting a lot of the members of the Phantom Menace and Geeks and Gamer staff. But yeah, I mean, I think that all politicians are phonies in some way or the other. But what I meant by that is that out of all of them, he comes across as the most genuine. He seems to be the most consistent. I think that's probably a better word for it, is that he seems to be the most consistent on a lot of the mainstream policies that he's pushing. Member Out of Step with Reality says, Odin, what's going on, Out of Step? How's it going? Christopher Mills says, which do you think is worse, coronavirus or the Spanish influenza that hit in 1918? This virus wiped out 500 million worldwide. Oh, easily Spanish influenza. I don't think the coronavirus is going to, I think people are kind of overreacting to coronavirus. Now, does that mean I'm saying just ignore it? No, we should take it seriously. It is obviously spreading. It's obviously hurting. And here's the thing, though. I look at the data, and the data says that for the coronavirus, and actually some people say that if you say that word too much on YouTube, you get automatically demonetized. So I might have to try to avoid that for the rest of the stream. But the new thing going on right now, the thing that I'm talking about, it's only affecting older people as far as people that are dying, right? It has a very, very, very low death rate among younger people. And so that doesn't mean that, it's nothing to worry about, but I do think it's being very much overblown. I really do think that it's being, that people are fear-mongering, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think people fear-monger for power. I think they fear-monger because they want people to be in disarray, and I'm not. I'm looking at what the doctors are saying about it, and I'm looking at what is actually happening to people and who are being affected by it. GMonkey76 says, call me a conspiracy nut, but I expect something to happen with CV. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Or something else to screw with the election in November. Well, I would say that if anything were to have a negative impact on the current administration, it would be the coverage of the virus, for sure. Because obviously the media can try and spin it to say, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that, and try and spin it in that way. Ooh, we got some more polls closing in 3, 2, and 1. More polls are closing, and it looks like, ooh, there might be a call. Let's see what we got here. Might be another win for North Carolina. Goes to Biden. Congratulations, Joe Biden, for winning North Carolina. As I said, I think what you're going to see tonight is East Coast South is going to be very Biden-centric, and then you're going to see a lot of the West and Central, like California, Utah, Colorado. I could see those states all going for Bernie. Texas probably too in some capacity. And then the rest are kind of up in the air in a lot of ways. So we'll have to wait and see. It is interesting, though, nonetheless, to see all this stuff play out. And D-Live people, I see you dropping some stuff over there. I have not forgotten about you. I'm just trying to get through as much of the YouTube stuff as I can. CW Trixie, how about the party in Kentucky of fried chicken? I would join that party as long as it means that I get fried chicken. HyperNext13, my driving instructor is a strong, independent whammon. JK, just kidding. In all seriousness, she's great. Can't wait to get things done. Nice. Very, very cool. It's always good to have a good driving instructor because sometimes it could just become, like, awful. Oh, man. All right, let's see. All right, I'm caught up on YouTube, and let me go ahead and jump over to D-Live. Let us see here. D-Live people. Mr. Peabody says, we are going to need to get Tina a helmet if we are going to christen her with a champagne bottle. Captain High says, Abe Lincoln was a third-party president, was he not? Well, that was also at a different time in history where you didn't have this very centralized control of two major parties. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly what party he was a part of or how many major parties existed at the time. Mr. P.I. says, free-to-air Channel 7 here showed all these specials on the CV and then played the movie Outbreak. Wait, they talked about the virus and then they played the movie Outbreak. That's very sensitive of them. ZK Man, thank you for the 2 ice cream donations. I appreciate it, man. Mr. Peabody says, maybe the Corona was released by Kleenex for some reason toilet paper has turned into gold. Damn, son. Captain Dean High says, CV is just a conspiracy by competitors of Corona beer to screw up their sales. Oh, damn. All right, back over to YouTube. Do Re Mi Com. Do Re Mi blog. We need to have a voting system that isn't first past the post in order to get a true multi-party. We need to have a voting system that isn't first past the post in order to get a true multi-party system. Okay, I don't know what you mean by first past the post. Don't quite understand that. Phantom Mini says, CV is killing Iran and is in New York City. Did you hear that? Well, yes, I did. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that as far as other countries go, there's a lot of other countries that are not doing what they should be for any outbreak. Right? If you have a very heavy flu season, right, there are certain things that you start to do, right? You start to wash your hands more. You start to be more aware of things, right? You start to clean a lot more, and that's how you contain it. That's how you control it. It looks like with this, the reason why it's becoming so much more widespread is because people just, think about Washington State, right? Where there have been really the only American deaths so far with it. They had no idea that it apparently had been around and had been among the population for 2 weeks undetected. And that kind of just goes to show you that it is not really as major as I think some people are trying to say. Because if it had been, for those 2 weeks, you would have known a lot more about it. Rob D says, if you had to vote between AOC and Ryan Johnson, who would you go with? Oh, Ryan Johnson. If I had to, like literally no choice at all, Ryan Johnson. Because AOC is baddie. I don't like Ryan, but man, no chance. Jeremy Swiggs, we need space. You're so clingy, Jeremy Swiggs. I see what you did there. Hardwick, at least Alfred E. Newman is out of the race now. Who? He was in the race? I don't know who that is. Peter Hand says, Brie Larson for president 2024. Get out of here with that nonsense. No. Screw that. Orange Eye Reviews, Bernie Sanders should not even be on the Democratic ticket. He is in the independent party. Florida is suing to kick him off the Democratic ballot. And you know what? I think they have a case. I think they have a valid case because he is a registered independent. He is running for the only thing that I could see, he's not going to get kicked off of it, by the way, right? Because he's filled out all the paperwork, right? He's filled out all of the paperwork. He's done everything by the system that the Democrats laid out. And so therefore, there is no reason or no ability for them to be able to kick him out of the ticket based on the limited knowledge I have of that. But if they did, wouldn't surprise me. Tina says, Fox is really paying off for Disney. Money well spent. Not. Yep. Absolutely. Alex McCarthy. Member Alex McCarthy says, so happy you accepted Drunk's marriage proposal. When's the wedding? Well, we're still talking things out. We had a fight the other day, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. G-Monkey. I'll be paying off my school loans next week, and Elizabeth Warren's school loans elimination plans really bother me. G-Monkey. Yeah, I'm still in the process of paying off mine. Hopefully this year. Fingers crossed. That is the goal. But yeah. It ticks me off, too, because I think that a valid question is raised. One, what are you going to do for those people, those millions of people that have taken out loans and paid them off because they took on responsibility because they signed a contract and said, okay, I will take this money so that I will then pay it back, even though I might be accepting a really bad interest rate. But at the end of the day, I signed a contract, right? I signed for this money. That to me teaches responsibility, right? Now, can we go after some of these companies and their interest rates and things like that? Maybe, right? Maybe we can have a discussion about it. But to say, we're just going to, pay off all your student loan debt. The only thing, one, that they could pay off would be public loans, right? Government loans. They wouldn't be able to touch private stuff. So you have to ask the question, how much of that would really be taken care of? And then two, the big question, of course, always, how are you going to pay for it? Other people, taxpayer dollars, right? People that in all likelihood, when they took out their loans, paid off their loans responsibly, are now going to be paying for others who decided to not be responsible for it, right? Now, if we were talking about people that are becoming, for example, I can be probably persuaded on this. If there was a piece of legislation that said, we're going to offer this forgiveness for for government loan debt, but only for people that are pursuing being a doctor or something to that effect, right? Something that is actually going to benefit society in a very, very real way, then you might be able to convince me, maybe. But even then, still not quite there, because I don't like the idea of someone taking out a lot of money, knowing that they need to pay it off and then deciding not to, right? Because even they, like doctors, for example, they get major paychecks that eventually help them to pay those loans off. Takes them a long time to do it, right? People think, doctors, they get so much money. Not at first. At first, they have to pay off a lot of money because they have a lot of student loan debt. But that makes more sense to me than just blanket statement every single person, including the idiot that decided, I'm going to study gender studies. No, I'm not paying off that person's idiotic request for loans. Sorry. Not going to happen. I think hopefully I get my point across, right? Like if you have to do it for people where they actually are choosing a major, or they're actually, pursuing a job, or they have a job, like they've actually gone through all of schooling and are actually pursuing that job. Maybe then, but even then, probably not, because again, I think we should all be responsible for the money that we decide to take out. Hardwick, George Washington warned that political parties were dangerous in his farewell address. Yes, that's right. HyperNext13, hearing that the CV is spreading in North Korea as well. What are your thoughts on it? Looks like they're in trouble. As I said before, I think it's being mostly overblown. I feel for countries that are not handling it well, because just like with any illness, with any virus, if you're not going to contain it, if you don't know how to handle it or deal with it, it can be very problematic. Eric Bosalal says, the problem with the Libertarian Party is that it's been overrun by Bernie bros and anarcho-capitalists. They want the government to die. I just want a leash on the government. Yeah, and I think there's a fair point, but I think there's honestly, in the Libertarian Party, two sides, or like two major sides, right? You have that anarcho-capitalist that you're talking about, but then you also have the people that are like, okay, I just want to be left alone. Let's have the government be the size as it is stated in the Constitution. You do have those people that are still calling themselves libertarians, right? Because by Libertarian Party, I mean people that are both either registered or who consider themselves to be libertarians, right? Because even I consider myself libertarian on certain issues, but yeah, I totally see where you're coming from now. Jeremy Swiggs, an agent of chaos, someone call Maxwell Smart. Tina says, I guess I'll have to buy it if my brother doesn't put it on our Voodoo account first. I just need to find out how it ends. Tina, I might just go ahead and buy you one anyway, because as I said, the 4K title's been hard to find, but I'm sure I could send you a Blu-ray of digital code. So Tina, we'll talk. We'll talk. Eric Bosalao says, I do plan on infiltrating the Libertarian Party and making it pragmatic and America first. Truly interesting, Eric. Again, I'm all about that infiltration. I'm all about trying to make things fair. Eric then says, by the way, the last name is pronounced Beausoleil. Okay, I had no idea, so thank you for telling me that. So Beausoleil. All right, Eric Beausoleil. I will try and remember that. Tina says, thank you for letting them know. HyperNext13, just a random question. I was wondering about, because I'm not knowledgeable about this, but does anti-capitalism necessarily cause communism? What's the ties? So, well, it depends on what you mean by anti-capitalist, right? Anti-capitalist just means you're not supportive of a capitalist system. If you're a commie, you're a commie, right? If you're a commie, it means that you believe. So communism is the belief. It's the system where the government takes over the means of production, right? And what a lot of people don't want to admit is that socialism and communism are very, very closely connected with each other. In fact, the creator of communism and others like him made very clear, socialism is the gateway to communism, right? So socialism starts off where the government starts to become more, taking over, not necessarily means of production, but starts to take over different parts of the government, right? Like major control of things like the healthcare system, right? That's a big thing that's being pushed right now, or other things like that. So basically it becomes bigger government, bigger. And then that normally leads, inevitably, like all things do when you have a centralized authority with lots of power, to eventually them taking over the means of production, right? That's what you see happening, for example, in China. Again, communist, the People's Republic of China. It's a communist system over there. And other places in the world too. So just because you're anti-capitalist doesn't mean that you're a commie. A commie is a commie, if that makes any sense. Sharon says, miss you too. Thank you for the hello. That made my day. I'll be back around. Glad to hear it, Sharon. Glad to have you back. The Lonely Cynic member, Lonely Cynic Laura, says, hello there, chat and Odin. Howdy. How's it going? Soul Assassin says, a funny video to watch is Bernie giving a speech and a Trump boat comes sailing by. I saw that video. It was on Twitter earlier today, and yes, it is hilarious. See, again, stuff like that, I think it's funny. I think it's quite funny. Let's see. Christopher Miller says, just call it Mexican beer virus. Dion says, and watch your flying video. Hint, hint. Cheers to you. Yes, Dion. Hope that you're doing well, man. Hyprin says, just watch Princess Mononoke for the 4th time. Man, oh man, it still holds up for me. Ghibli, so much better than Disney. Yep. Studio Ghibli is absolutely better than Disney, for sure. No question about it. Yeah, out of step with reality. Unfortunately, the GIFs don't work. They don't actually move like they should. I'm still trying to figure that out with YouTube, but you all know YouTube drags their feet with everything. So I'm going to try and get those GIFs fixed at some point, though. I'm going to do the very, very, very best I can, if I can. Let us see here. All right, chat jumped on me again. Let us see. Where are we? All right, cool. Let me jump over to D-Live for a second. Make sure that everything is okay over there. Captain Dean Heiss says, Alfred E. Newman, Mad Magazine. See, that reference went over my head. I never read or I was never one of. I don't know a lot about Mad Magazine, to be perfectly honest. Mr. BY says, to clarify what I said before, for some reason people are bulk buying toilet paper so much that the suppliers have switched to a 24-hour shift to keep up with demand. We might have a lot of people walking around wrapped up like mummies to protect them from the virus. Oh my goodness, wow. That's a lot of toilet paper, man. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. For those that are not aware, wearing a mask does not protect you from getting it. You should only wear a mask if you yourself are infected, because you then stop or help to stop other people from being infected by you, right? Healthcare professionals are the ones that also need to have access to this mask. What you've seen is because people are being fear-mongered about this, you end up having a shortage in these masks, and then the people that actually need them aren't able to get them. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Harvick says, I was shocked to see how shoddy it looks like Artemis Fowl will be, as it's directed by Kenneth Branagh. I know it's Disney, but so was Branagh's Cinderella, and it turned out great. Yeah, but Artemis Fowl, I mean, when that movie got pushed back. Whenever movies get pushed back by almost, 6 months to a year, that's usually a sign of something going on behind the scenes. So I'm not surprised that it looks as bad as it does. Alice McCarthy says, Vin Diesel is a great actor. He's all about family. I'm all about family, man. Sure. Bruce says, it must be original recipe, KFC party. I like spicy. Slice of Neons, before we get ready for Super Thursday, can we take a moment to honor the 150 million lives lost to gun violence these last 15 years? Oh, Biden the gaffe machine. Oh my goodness. Yeah, for those that are not aware, Joe Biden is a gaffe machine, always makes mistakes. It's one thing to make a few mistakes every now and then, but he called Super Tuesday Super Thursday. He quickly corrected himself, though, so I'll forgive him for that one. But at one point, what was it, in a debate, he said that we lost 150 million people to gun violence. And I don't think he corrected that one, at least not that night. Christopher Mills says, Lincoln was Republican. I thought so. Bruce says, I bet World War Z has been playing on TV as well. I know, seriously. It's so weird how they try and, benefit from the crises going on. It's kind of sick when you think about it. Eric Bosole says, I'm going to call it Sharona virus. Sharona. Sharona. Nathan Slay, is this chat going to be demonetized because you mentioned the CV? It could be. Kigo Rogers says, plot twist, AOC is Ryan Johnson. Bum, bum, bum. Twist of the century. Bruce says, Alfred E. Newman is the face of Mad Magazine. Thank you for that. Grandmaster Yoda says, Breakthrough was a Fox movie from March 2019. Cost $14 million, got 50 at the box office. So Disney has one hit in the Fox merge. Fun fact, Alita is biggest box office under the merge at the moment. Alita came out before the merge took place, though. Alita was the last official Fox release before Disney took over. So technically Alita is not their biggest success because Alita came out prior to Disney signing the dotted line, finalizing the deal. The deal was already in the process of being made, but it was not finalized until after Alita had already come out. Because I remember covering that. It was the last official Disney, the last official Fox release before Disney took over. Slice of Neons says, problem is Roundhead would elect AOC and breed to his cabinet. Same psycho elite leftist ideology. Bruce says, 20th century, not. Yep. Joe Remy says, first past the post equals one vote, and the first person to get more than 50% wins. Search CGP Gray, the first past the post on YouTube, for an awesome rundown. So let me get that again. One vote, and the first person to get more than 50% wins. Well, we don't have that going on, at least nationally. Remember, nationally, it's not about your popular vote. Nationally, it's about the Electoral College, which is something that I really like. But if you mean statewide, possibly. I actually, to be honest, I would not be opposed, mostly for bigger states, to having some type of electoral system in each state, because every district, right, is different. So if you were to base statewide electoral votes on population densities, that means that you could have a state like, for example, California, where you have a lot of Republicans. There are actually a lot of Republicans in California, but because of those major cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, where there is these giant population centers that outweigh everything else, the state, all their electoral votes go to one party. But if you were to take it more county-wide, or again, however you want to divide it up, you would actually have a more fair system, and also I think elections would be a lot closer in the end too. So if that's what you mean, like breaking up states in that way electorally, having almost like electoral college votes, but statewide instead, in addition to the national, I might be okay with that, especially in larger states. Tina says, I don't know what this is about you and drunk, but I definitely get a prenup beforehand. Take him for everything. Oh, I would. I mean, he's the prettiest man on YouTube, right? And I know that everyone's going to be wanting him. Hardwick is the buck-toothed boy on the cover of Mad Magazine. My chat was a joke referencing the fact that Pete Buttigieg looks like him. Oh, okay, I did not get that at all. Yeah, I didn't get that. I haven't heard that before. Hardwick, what are your thoughts on Ron Paul? Mostly good guy. He was actually, I'm going to be honest, Ron Paul was the one that made me start to think differently. I was a registered Republican for a long time. My family was all Republican, so of course I just followed along with my family. And then all of a sudden, Ron Paul comes on the scene, right? And I didn't, it was really the 2012. It was sometime between 2010 and 2012. I started watching a lot more Ron Paul videos, and I was like, wait, this guy is saying something that's different. And then I looked back to when he ran earlier, right? I remember when he was on the stage not too long after 9/11. Or maybe it was 2008, maybe. It was the first major election when a president was stepping down after 9/11, and because of term limits. And I remember he got lambasted because of his comments about it, and about how we were involved in, about how our foreign policy really created the elements and created the atmosphere that led to the attacks, right? That led to us creating this environment, really, by our own making, that led to these radicalized people getting to the point of doing the things that they did. And I was like, I never really thought of it that way before. So he was the one that kind of pushed me to start thinking more so about independent political thought. So yeah, I think that Ron Paul has a lot of really great ideas, but like with most politicians, right? A lot of great things about him. There's some other things too that aren't perfect either. No one is perfect. 70B says, what's on your shirt? So I've got it says I voted, and it's in the shape of Tennessee. And it says hashtag go vote Tennessee. So if that's what you're talking about, it's a I voted sticker, because I did, because I believe in it. Tina says, that would be sweet. You don't have to. I know my brother will add it to our Voodoo account, but thank you. Anything for you, Tina. Nathan Slay, you'll see. I'll show you when the chips are down. You'll see. I'll show you when the chips are down. These civilized people, they'll eat each other. You're right. They will. Absolutely. Robert Frey, I found a lot of 4K 40 Ferraris at my local Target. I didn't even see it listed on Amazon on its street date. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you for that. Okay. So it's in stores. So I'm sure if I went to Best Buy, I could probably pick some copies up. Yeah, you're right. Amazon, for some reason, is kind of lagging behind on that movie. I wonder why. If someone can find out for me, let me know. Lazy Tano says, if you take away the interest rates, it'll help to actually be able to pay them off and just pay what you took out. The problem, though, is that there has to be some type of incentive if you're going to take the loans out to pay them back, right? So I guess you could do that, but then would have to be a new law that would make it would be more protective of the people giving out the loans, right? Because also when you think about it too, the people that are in business to giving out loans, they do need to make some money. And so they make their money based on the interest rates that they charge, right? Because if you have a lot of money and you're just giving it out, but you're a business and you're trying to keep things, you see how there's some problematic there, right? They have to be able to make income too, right? In order to continue to give it out at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool if there weren't any interest rates, but I think that's the reason why it would kind of be hard to do. All right, Lacey Tano had the last comment on YouTube before the chat jumped on me. Let's see. Polls set to close in Massachusetts soon. Oh boy. Is Elizabeth Warren going to be able to win her home state? I don't think she will. I think that she's going to lose. And based on, I'm seeing a video of her giving a speech, looks like she is not set to quit. Looks like she is staying in. Oh boy. Again, as I said, my conspiracy theory, that's the DNC saying you need to stay in so that way you take away votes from Bernie. That's what I think. That's what I think. Those establishment types, I tell you. All right, going back over to D-Live. Let's see. Captain High says, YouTube sucks. It really, really sucks. You're right. Mr. Peabody says, I did make a video on CV and the use of masks weeks ago. Nobody watched it. I did explain viruses. Boom, you were ahead of the curve, man. Then he said, my viewers have dropped off. I only cut my hair a little. Hey, you can't cut the hair at all right? That hair is beautiful. It's gorgeous, and we need it. Especially right now, where we are as a society, we need that hair. Let's see. Harbeck says, I just saw a chat by Brad where he called it the Woo Flu. I think that's the perfect name, the Woo Flu. What? I don't quite understand it. All right. Hypern, I see you misspelled it, so I'll go ahead and read it anyway. Context anti-capitalism. I see. Thanks, Odin, on the explanation. Is socialism involved with class division? Sorry for the political questions, just wondering. Knowledge is awesome. So that is more related with communism. So the Communist Manifesto, when you look to the purveyors and creators of communism in general, they had an idea of basically class warfare, because if you get the classes to fight against each other, that's what helps to, the government's going to come in and we're going to take care of those rich people for you. Give us more of your power. Give us more of your power. Oh, now we control who's rich or not. Oh, but now we have control, right? So yeah. And if I'm wrong on that, again, someone in the chat, please contact them and let me know. Bruce says, I agree. Ghibli better, Studio Ghibli better than Disney. Can I get a what? Oh, you said Ghibli? Did you mean to say Ghibli or Ghibli? Can I get a what? Slash of Neons, Harrison Ford didn't fill seats. Proof big names are no longer sufficient draws. This is a bad need bears for Indy 5. If it ever comes out, you're right. Big names don't sell tickets anymore, right? Not even big movies sell tickets anymore. One could argue that Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, making just over $1 billion, not a huge success. That film should have made 1.5 to $2 billion. At least. That was the end of the Skywalker saga. But as you saw, it's more so about the story. It's more about fandom than anything else. Glowing the Hobbit. Bloomberg is having a horrible night. Should he drop out tomorrow? He should have dropped out like weeks ago. But I don't know if he is. Because once again, he's an independent mind. And so he's an independent mind with a crap ton of money. So it depends on how many delegates he gets tonight. If he can get himself some delegates to start making a point, right? If his main goal is that he wants a brokered convention, then he might stay in, because he technically would take votes away from Biden. So if you have those four candidates, Biden, Bernie at the top, and then you have Warren and, oh my goodness, Bloomberg. Bloomberg takes away from Biden. Warren takes away from Sanders. But I think Warren takes more away from Sanders than Bloomberg does from Biden, because Bloomberg is kind of a joke at this point, right? And I think he's going to show you very clearly that money does not mean everything and that you can't buy votes. There's something more to it than just money. That's why I think it's actually going to be a very great commentary on, how people said, oh, we have to control who spends money on what and how much you can spend on this because it's going to corrupt the political system. Really? Then how is it that a man that has all the money in the world and has spent almost $500 million on a campaign can't even win some, portion of the delegates? But we'll have to wait and see. He has to reach that 15% threshold in a lot of places. So we'll have to wait and see when that comes in. Virginia, the numbers are coming in. Bloomberg only got 9.3%, so no delegates there for him. Biden has 54.7% of the vote in Virginia. That's an insane amount. North Carolina looks a little closer, but those are all the other states so far have just a very little amount in. Let's see. 70B, Studio Ghibli is how you'll say it. Yes, queen. Tina, I saw a few wearing masks at airports, and they were young people, like 20-somethings, and no one on the ship was wearing any. Wash your hands and sanitize. Exactly. And some people are like, oh, use hand sanitizer. That's fine if you have nothing else. Washing your hands is what deactivates viruses. Hand sanitizer doesn't do it by itself. Venom Bully 93, I have a professional mask to protect from resin emanation with face protection glasses and particle filters. Well, that sounds very high tech. Phantom and East, grocery stores are being raided and stuff is being pulled back to China. They need it more than we do, they said, which is true. Well, because they've got a lot more cases. Hyprin, what's your thoughts on Gangs of New York? Great film. I liked it, but I didn't love it, and it's my least favorite Scorsese flick. I will say one thing, Daniel Day-Lewis is the bomb in that movie. I love that movie. Definitely not my least favorite of his, for sure. I love that movie. I think it's great, and the ending is what gets me every time. The ending of Gangs of New York, the song, all of it is fantastic. Out of Step with Reality member says it should be the Kathleen Kennedy virus. Orange Hat Reviews, the death of Raylo was exquisite. Your thoughts? Oh yeah. For those that don't know, basically they have retconned Raylo to say that it was purely platonic kiss between Rey and Kylo Ren. And some people have freaked out about it. I think that's hilarious. Bruce, I will say I thought Outbreak was a good movie, but the final bomb run thing was total BS. I've never seen Outbreak. Soul Assassin, I heard they have an animated AVP movie completed, but won't release it for reasons. Interesting. Bruce says Bernie wins for I'm covering this, man. I'm behind the chat. You know that. I'm 11 minutes behind the chat. All right, polls have closed. More polls have closed. Looks like we've got some calls to make. Let's see. Joe Biden has won Alabama. As we said, the South, he will probably do very, very well because of demographics. So Joe Biden has won the state of Alabama. Not a real big surprise there. Massachusetts. Ooh, Massachusetts is too close to call. Oh, man. I want Warren to lose there. That would just make me happy. I love when people lose their home states. Because it just becomes such a farce. It becomes such a farce at this point. Also too close to call in the great state of Tennessee. That's right. By the way, there are Tennessee might come in a little bit later, or they might delay. I don't know, because there's some polls, obviously, in the areas affected by the storms last night they've been allowed to keep their polls open later. But it is interesting that Tennessee is also too close to call. I wonder if my votes had anything to do with that. Political chaos. I love it. Hardwick says, Emma Thompson is leaving Britain for Italy because of Brexit. She said, we should be taking down borders, not putting them up, and that she feels European rather than British. Well, that's idiotic. Rob D, watch when Trump wins again. They abolish the electoral voting system and the popular vote too, just in case. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I like the electoral college system. Bruce, I think I'd like to see a Bernie v. Trump election. Bernie bros would sleep in too late to make the vote. Those debates would be entertaining as hell. Serbian Terminator says, how was your day, and have you ever seen Superman Returns? Is that the one from the 2000s? If so, yes. Slicer Neons says, oh, wait, where are you? Where are you, Slicer Neons? So far, Biden has won 3 states. Sanders has won 1 state. And Bloomberg, Warren, and Tulsi Gabbard have won 0. Tulsi Gabbard, to me, is one of the only persons running in the... She's still running as like a protest candidate at this point. She's the only one that I don't think is a complete loon bag. She actually has a lot of common sense. Sadly, though, she just has no real ground to stand on at this point. Let's see. Slicer Neons, does Bloomberg know there's a you must be... Oh, no, don't make a height joke, Slicer. Don't make a height joke. There might be some people in the chat that aren't very tall. All right? If you're not tall, that's okay. We invite everyone here. We invite everybody here. Let's see. Phonemo, what's going on over on DLive? Is the retcon due to the fact that Kylo didn't consent to the kiss, much like how Finn did it in the previous movie? I don't think so, but it's a fair point. And then Mr. Peabody says, washing hands removes virus, does not kill it. A virus is a non-living entity. You can't denature it, but it's not alive to kill. Okay, very good point. Thank you for adding that. Appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Serbian Terminator says, I thought for sure The Invisible Man was going to be a horrible remake of the early classic monster movie in 1920, and yet I'm hearing a lot of people say that it's a pretty decent thriller. I still have my reservations about the main premise, having it be an abusive man, and the movie's called The Invisible Man, and yet it focuses on... Again, that's where I get my hang up. Not on the movie itself, but on the way that it's set up. Jeremy Swiggs says, Anna and Krista have pics of drunk. If this marriage was true love, you'd have a steel poster of him next to John Wick. Well, if he can upload an image to Displate, which is what those are from, then I will buy that. Tell him if he puts it up on Displate, I will absolutely do that. Oh boy, John Flickinger's in the chat. What's going on, John? I thought you were supposed to be live right now. John Flickinger, what's going on, dude? Sub to John Flickinger, you haven't done so already. He is my co-host on my podcast. I'm his co-host on his podcast. If you want access to that, become a member at the $10 part here, or of course join Patreon, subscribe, start at the same level, get access to that podcast. And he asked the question, Trump or Palpatine? I'm going Palpatine because Palpatine is chaotic. And as I've said all night this stream, I want chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Selection Neons, do the Dems realize Bernie and Biden are older than the president? Where are the young Democrats? They really are so damn old. Hardwick, Wuhan and influenza-like diseases. Wu flu. Ah, gotcha. Bruce meant Ghibli. Good to hear. Jeremy Swiggs, yeah, not a movie, not a movie. Not a movie, not a movie. 70B says delegates or dedicates? 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 Delegates? Huh? Delegates. Oh, you mean delegates. Delegates, perhaps. I'm watching someone who I know loves looking up the the betting odds on various things. I love it. I love it. Rob D, Hasbro should make political figure action figures. There would be more Elizabeth Warrens on the store shelves than Admiral Holdos. Rob D, that's one of the best comments of the night, man. Shout out to you, man. Yeah, I would actually like that too. To be honest, that might be something that I would be a collector of. Not gonna lie. I might actually collect those. But yeah, you're right. Elizabeth Warren would be one of those action figures that nobody wants. Oh, that's a good shout. Hardwick, have you ever seen Kenneth Branagh's Henry V? No, I have not. Soul Assassin, Germ-X and hand sanitizer companies are making bank nowadays. Yes, as are tissue companies. 70B, the kiss was platonic? Yes, platonic. Bruce says, Raylo tears, I love them so much. Yum, yum, yum. I bet you do, Bruce. Venom Broly, it is less stupid than Palpatine is a clone, rather a survivor of the Vader launch pit and Death Star explosion. Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. That's the other big news item of the week is that it has now been confirmed in the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker that Palpatine was a clone and that it was the spirit. It was the spirit of Emperor Palpatine living in the clone, but the clone couldn't take it, which is why I was hooked up to that machine. Then why didn't you just have that in the movie in the first place? And also, by the way, Ian McDiarmid has apparently come out and confirmed that there were clone lines, right? There were lines confirming that he was a clone in the movie that were cut. Also, I'm looking at the headquarters right now. Bloomberg actually has a really crowded headquarters. Biden has one of the emptiest looking ones. Now, I'm assuming it's because of... I'm assuming he's having his party in the West because it's still sunlight out there, which would make very little sense because I don't think he's going to do very well in the West. But maybe that was one of the last places that he was going. But yeah, interesting night. Interesting night we have going on here. Interesting night indeed, yes. All right, chat jumped on me like it normally does. Like it normally does. All right, let's jump over to D Live. Let's just see here. Mr. Peabody says, a virus ties up your immune system, which makes you susceptible to other infections, namely bacteria. Bacteria you can kill. Very nice. Very nice. You're like an expert on this. It's like you're an expert on this or something, my friend. HyperX13, oh, I agree, Odin. I still thought it's a great movie, just not rewatchable for me. However, yes, that ending is haunting and fantastic. Only gripes for me were Cameron Diaz and Leo's accent. Yeah, Cameron Diaz's accent is definitely the worst in the movie. Her performance is the worst in the movie for sure. Absolutely. as Warren pretends to be happy and excited when she very well might lose her home state. Oh Lord, that's the call that I'm waiting for is for Massachusetts. If Warren, even better, if Warren gets third in her home state, now that would be great. Hardwick, did you hear about Baz Luhrmann's upcoming Elvis Presley biopic? Tom Hanks is playing Colonel Parker, and Maggie Gyllenhaal is playing Elvis's mother, Gladys. I have not heard about that. I have very little opinion. The Vermont primary, Biden is over 15% right now. Warren is below. Bloomberg. So basically, Bloomberg in all the states right now is hovering right around 10%. Not enough for delegates, bruh. Not enough for delegates, bruh. I'm just saying. Nathan Slay, what are your opinions on The Departed? I think it's damn good. I think it's damn good too. Yeah, The Departed is fantastic. Serbian Terminator, yes, Superman Returns is from 2007 after the plane rescue scene and the CV. Take my car instead. Bruce, you know the mainstream media is already set for Bernie v. Trump debates and all. You know what? It would be great for their ratings. That's for damn sure. But I think the mainstream media, and it's been very clear based on their coverage, they are trying to get Biden. They are trying to get Biden in because they're almost all establishment. They're almost all establishment. They're going to try and protect the establishment as much as they possibly can. Let's see. Hyper and X13. I think it would have been cool to see Daniel Day-Lewis play Dracula and Jack the Ripper. Sad his career's over. Yeah, he says it's over. And I do believe him because if anyone were to be honest in that, it would be him. However, I would not be surprised to see him come back. All right, Virginia, 99% of the vote is in. Biden got 54.4%. Sanders got 23%, so both get delegates. Warren then got 10%, so she gets no delegates, none. And Sanders got one county. He won one county. That's not very good. That's not very good at all. Alrighty, let's see. Bruce, The Invisible Man making money and how couldn't it cost so little to make? Doesn't take away from it being a woke trash movie. Again, I haven't seen it yet to say that the whole movie is that, but it is interesting nonetheless. Bloomberg got 9.3% in Virginia. Good job, Bloomberg. Congratulations, bro. I'm glad your $500 million that you spent on these states is working out for you, man. Oh, what a joke. What a joke. All right, in Vermont, Sanders has 51%, Biden has 22%, so both get delegates. Warren, though, 11.9%, probably will not get any. Sanders is winning every county so far, but only 23% of the vote is in. Bruce says, pizza, pizza. Orange Hat Reviews, John Wick versus Ben Affleck's The Accountant. This has got some people talking. I'll be discussing with the panel Friday. What's your vote? Between the two, I like John Wick more. But I will say, Ben Affleck's The Accountant is a very underrated movie. It is a definitely underrated movie. Slice of Neons. Senators, Dello Feligates. Dello Feligates. I like that a lot. Bruce, I would want Warren figure to round my Native American figure collection. Oh, that's awesome. That's so great. Oh, man. All right, let me just jump over to D-Live for a second. Let's see what we got going on. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you for dropping a diamond donation and for 5 ice cream donations as well, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Captain Mr. Roy is always taking care of me over on D-Lab, man. I thank you very much. You're one of my chosen of Valhalla. You're an awesome dude. Thank you so much, man. Mr. Peabody says, well, making The Invisible Man, they would have saved on lighting. There was nothing to light. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Harwick says, Brana's Henry V is great. The St. Crispin's Day speech is especially iconic due to a combination of Brana's performance and Patrick Doyle's score. I do like Kenneth Branagh a lot. Smooth Jam, California. Hello, Odin. How are you this evening? Beard's still looking good. Well, thank you very much, good sir. I appreciate you. Nathan Slay, fans of Star Wars, how confusing and disorganized will you make the Star Wars trilogy? Soul Assassin. So Palp was a cloned body that housed his spirit. I feel like we heard this story before in the mythical source material. Yeah, it's like they had that happen, but it was better, and they handled it better, and they made it clear in the actual story and didn't have to retcon it after the fact when their movie failed to capture the minds and hearts of the fans. Who would have known? Who would have thunk it? Hardwick, how would you like to see a movie in which Alita and John Wick team up to fight Old Yeller and Cujo? Why dogs? I would love to see them team up, but why to fight dogs? That's just unsanitary. Slicer, the Biden figure will have creepy touch grip action and red eye changing power. Gaffs sold separately. Yes, Slicer. Which means it will have to come with a warning. Obviously, it will have to come with a warning. Christopher Mills, Jack the Ripper or Jacqueline the Ripper, was Jack a man or a woman? England and the world never could find Jack. Ooh, conspiracy. I would say most likely a guy, just based on the number of murders, etc. Just based on the style, right? Just based on the style. Hi, Next 13. Did you say pizza, pizza? It's confirmed we need a Little Caesar movie, not Little Women. Pizza, pizza. Yes, absolutely. Little Caesar, that would be great. We have 100 people watching. Well, thank you so much for being here, everybody. Please smash that like button. We still got a little bit more time here on the channel. Let me jump back over to D-Live. D-Live fam, y'all doing okay? I'm gonna drop a GIF over there. Let me drop the one of me throwing Captain Marvel. Boom, there it is. There it is. I love my D-Live fam. You guys rock. You guys are so beautiful. All right, let's see what we got. Hardwick says the Democrat Party is biding their time until they can start warring against Trump in the general election. I don't know if that's you being serious or not. There's no chance in hell that they're going to do that. Biden is the one that unfortunately they're going to try and push and go for. In my honest opinion, I think that it's going to be, as many people are already saying, Biden versus Bernie for the convention. I think that there's going to be a split convention because based on these early results, Biden might be winning the states, but Bernie is still picking up delegates. And also, we still don't have Texas, which has a lot of delegates, and Bernie might win there. Again, win is relative, might be close, so they might split the delegates there. But I think Bernie's definitely going to win in California, and if Bernie wins enough, he can get a lot of delegates there. I think that Biden's going to end up getting over the 15% threshold in California to get some delegates, but I think that Bernie might have a pretty big win there. So we'll have to wait and see, because those are two states where there was a lot of early voting, and Bernie was doing very well in early voting in those states for sure. All right, let's see. Grandmaster Yoda says, not the first time Disney is using EU stuff. Kylo Ren is a renamed version of Jason Solo. Yeah, but it's really not Jason Solo in more ways than one, right? Not just in name, but for so many other reasons. Next poll is set to close in 12 minutes. We'll probably try and wrap the stream up by then. Venom Burley says, not 100% it is true, but Elon Musk has a giant Alita on his future Martian rocket. Yeah, I saw that picture, and a lot of people were wanting me to cover it. But yeah, all the images just didn't look real. Do I think that he would do that? Yes, absolutely. And if it means that he's going to try and fund a movie, that'd be great. But we don't really have a lot of evidence, or at least I haven't watched enough to know fully about that situation. But it just, every time I saw the image on Twitter, I'm like, this doesn't look real. It just didn't look real. Christopher Mills says, you could make the case on a woman scorned by her husband cheating on her. Oh. Orange Hat, more of the novel. So Christopher Mills, you were talking about Jack the Ripper. Potentially. But it's because it was more than just one. That was the thing. All right, anyway. Orange Eye Review says, more of the novel was leaked. They have Palps transferring his spirit as he's falling down the shaft. They killed Anakin's sacrifice. Said Palps senses his change to the light side. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're retconning it. They're retconning and they're destroying original Star Wars. They've already been doing that, But now, once again, another novelization, more canon out the door. That's ridiculous. Justin Proper, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Justin Proper, I am doing fine. How are you doing, good sir? Nathan Slay, here lie the graves of the Toy Story and MCU franchises, both killed by Disney. Facts. Facts right there. Let's see. We have a donation from Reed. Oh, Reed Palacia, thank you so much. I need to sign in because for some reason, when Streamlabs OBS updated, the mini feed got jacked up and it's crap now. So I have to go to the actual website to get the legit stats going on. So anyway, Reed, thank you for the $30 donation via Streamlabs. Thank you so much for going through Streamlabs. YouTube gets none of that money, so thank you so much for that. Reed says, with agenda-driven movies and series, so many favorites are failing. They are now talking about remaking classics. Just so not looking forward to these projects. More time for reading. Good to see you, Odin. Reed, good to see you as well, dude. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, absolutely. The more you get these agenda-driven projects, and now they're trying to get classics remade, and now they're trying to remake the classics in their own image and not actually give them justice, all you get are crap woke projects or new, original crap woke projects. And you're right. All we have left to is basically to try and run to the novels, run to the books. And there are a lot of great books out there, especially when it comes to fiction, especially when it comes to Star Wars, right? I mean, Star Wars has fantastic EU. If you've not read the EU, I highly recommend it, as my DLive fam is dropping gifts over there. But yes, the EU, dive into it. It's freaking fantastic. Absolutely. Those they can't touch because those they've already been made. They've already been written. Pick up your copy if you've not done so already. I recommend the audiobooks too, by the way, for a lot of the EU stuff. Mark Thompson, if you see anything that is voiced by Mark Thompson, it is guaranteed to be very well done. All right, let's see here. All right. Let's see. HyperNX13, are you thinking of creating a secret bunker in your new house after Parasite? What a twist that would be for Odin's movie blog. Well, not a secret bunker, but there is going to be a room, but we have reached a bit of a problem with it, is that the builder apparently is behind on a lot of projects. And therefore, we're now not sure if we're going to get the house. Because it could be a situation where it doesn't close in April like we were hoping, but possibly May or never ending, right? And we don't want to be in that kind of position, right? We want to make sure we know exactly when it's happening and how it's going to happen and have an actual, like, within the near future date and not just this perpetually changing thing. So fingers crossed that actually happens, but we'll have to wait and see. Tennessee primary, 4% in, Biden in the lead right now. But again, only 4% of the votes in. Bloomberg has a percentage of that as well. That's interesting. Massachusetts primary, less than 1% in. It's not even worth showing. It's not even worth talking about, man. Alabama, Bloomberg got 29.7% of the vote in Alabama. Oh, wait, that's less than 1%. That's less than 1%. That means nothing. Get out of here. Get out of here. Thunderduck says, Guten Abend. If you want to laugh real hard, watch Heel vs. Babyface Batwoman Reviews. What? I have never heard of this before. Grandmaster Yoda says, how to fix episode 9. A servant of the Empire do a Sith ritual to bring back Sidious, and the Force bring back Anakin to face an error in the Force. Problem done. No, because you still have the problem of Disney doing all the other crap. Hardwick, I found that Elon Musk tweeted the elitist spaceship photo on his official Twitter account back on February 25th. Not sure if he actually made the photo or was just reposted. Exactly, right? So it's a photo that was Photoshopped, right? So we don't have an actual proof of that. Ooh, here's a trailer for The Hunt. Is anyone going to see the Friday the 13th it comes out? I didn't realize that we had a Friday the 13th in March. Oh, is anyone going to see The Hunt? As Nesson says, LF, Lucasfilm decided to retcon Rise of Skywalker to try and win back the fans. They ran off by trashing the EU with the Dark Empire ripoff, and they tried to run off the crazy Reylos they wanted so much. And guess what? It ain't working because they've already scared the fans away, and the fans ain't coming back. Nathan Slay, hey Disney, what do you get when you remake classic movie after classic movie and never do them justice? You get what you effing deserve. Serving Terminator, since Alita is from Mars, I wish Alita and Total Recall teamed up. Ooh, yes. That could be cool. Kigo Rogers, will you have a recording studio for your raps? Damn right, son. Damn right, because everyone wants my hot fire. I spit hot fire. Nathan Slay, I will tell you what you get. You get what... Yep, that's why I said Nathan Slay. I already was ahead of you. The Hunt is the movie that got a lot of controversy because it was originally perceived to be a bunch of the Trump supporters getting killed off by liberals. And now they're trying to spin it as oh no, it's actually, it doesn't paint anyone in a positive light. It paints the liberals as evil people, the rich elite class, right? It's just Hollywood trying to make a quick buck. So I don't know. I might try and see it to have an opinion on it, but yeah. It's going to be a hard sell for me. Let's see. D-Live people, I love you. Peabody says, I could come and finish your house for you. Just things might not be where you'd expect them. It would be upside down, and your toilet would flush the wrong way. Yes, I would need everything to be right side up, please. Thank you. Right side up, please. Thank you. Where do we get this help from? Where are these people from? Oh, they're from Australia. Why'd you get them from Australia? I would love for my house to be built by Aussies, because then I could have really great conversations with them. Alrighty, let's see. We're going to start to wrap things up. Let's see. Hardwick says, I already feel like I've seen The Hunt. Between reading the script months ago and seeing trailers, I have a pretty clear picture in my head. Hyron says, I'll see The Hunt for the sake of torture through streaming. Looks like it'll be bad but fun movie. Tina says, oh, that movie. They decided to release it after all. Whatever. They won't get Tina's bucks, which have to go to my April cruise. Damn right. Harwick, do you still have the link to my synopsis of The Hunt? Yes, I do. I do, but I just have not had the time to read through it. Soul Assassin says, The Pest with John Leguizamo is a better Hunt movie and funny. The Pest. I've never seen that. Never even heard of that before. And Brad Noble, the real question to you, good sir, is, have you ever seen a grown man naked? I love Airplane. I'm so glad that I was introduced to Airplane. My wife was a huge fan of it. She introduced me to it. Ooh, we got some Fox News alerts. Bernie Sanders wins Vermont. We knew that already. Okay, they're just going over it again. I don't have the sound on, so I'm looking just the graphics. Anything new? Maine is too close to call. Massachusetts is still too close to call. Bloomberg has now dropped. He was in the 20s, and I'm like, that's less than 1%. There's no way that's gonna last. I know, right, Dobo? Oh my gosh, shocker, he won his home state. Guess who probably won't win her home state? Warren. Oklahoma is too close to call as well. Tennessee, still too close to call. 6% of the vote in there. Robbie says, Jeremy should throw his hat in the ring, and then he should run for president. Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? Anyway, that's going to be it for me this evening. We're at time. Thank you. Odin wins Tennessee. Damn right, son. I always win Tennessee. Nathan Slay says, if you ever have a son, will you name him Thor? Not in real life. On the channel, yes, but not in real life. Unfortunately, Freya, the wife, would never allow that. So thank you all for being here this evening. We have 86 people still in here, so thank you so much. We've had almost 100 people in here all night, which is actually more than I thought that we would have for a political stream. But yeah, I think we had some good discussions about some politics, where we want to be, where we want to go, and of course also about Star Wars as well, and where we don't want to be, and where we don't want to go, and why we want to fix the things. But anyway, let me just catch up with some things on D-Live. Phonema says, when I saw the trailer for The Hunt, I never saw any political message. I thought it was just a grindhouse style movie. And then you read into it and you're like, oh. And the K-Man dropping a diamond donation. Thank you, K-Man. Says the K-Man 2024 motto, vote of the none of the above. I could vote for that, K-Man. Absolutely. Vote of none of the above. K-Man 2024. get your ballots ready. Anyway, thank you all so much for bearing with me tonight. Saturday stream should be normal as usual. It also will not be political. So if you want to have just a regular pop culture, probably we'll do some box office talk on that stream. Stay tuned Saturday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, here on the Odin's Movie Blog channel. Also, if you are a Patreon Subscribe Star member at the $10 and up backer level, or if you're a YouTube member at that $10 level, be ready for a podcast episode featuring me and John the Flick Pick. We have not chosen our topics yet, but it's going to be a fun time, so be on the lookout for that. Also, if you are a member at the $5 and up tier on Patreon Subscribe Star, you have access to giveaways over on Subscribe Star's main page or in the Discord server. I sent out a message on Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, of how to get access to those. But right now, there is a copy of 2001: A Space Odyssey on 4K, and I'll be choosing the winner of that. In fact, so many people entered, I'm going to be giving away 2 copies of that over on Discord and Subscribe Star. So stay tuned for that. If you entered into that, I'll be announcing winners on both Discord and Subscribe Star in the comments section on Subscribe Star, and getting in the information that I might need to send out those copies. And I think I'll try and get another giveaway set up pretty soon too. March Madness has begun. Giveaway Central over in Asgard. But anyway, thank you all for being here. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I love you so very much. D-Lab people, y'all stick around. You know I'm going to take care of you. Have a wonderful night. And let me shout out some of my patrons real quick. And now to give a special shout out to my March Patreon and Subscribe Star members: animation commentator Brian P., Dion, David Brobrizik, Divex, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Honker Chonker Funky Monkey, Inflame Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Camiel, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Riff Racer Request, Rosetta Allen, Sir Lancelato, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B for Patreon, and my Subscribe Star peeps: Robert Revo, Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Dark Star 57, Alex McCarthy, US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadan G. Adams, and ZK Man, and Mike Jackson. Thank you all so much for being my Patreon and Subscribe Star members for the month of March. You are all amazing people. Thank you so much for the support, and I hope that you are enjoying your perks. If you do not know the perks that you get, make sure you read again through all the perks that are listed, and also check your messages if you're over on Patreon, because if you are a $5 and up backer on Patreon, you get special access to giveaways over on the Discord. I send out messages with a link to join the Discord server. I will then hook you up over there, and you'll have access to some really cool giveaways. I give away 4Ks, Blu-rays, digital codes, try and give away at least a couple of big movies, 4K Blu-ray titles a month, and try to do at least 2 to 3 giveaways for when it comes to digital download codes. And I might try and do a little bit more this month as well, because I'm always trying to add extra stuff to it. And also, if you are a $10 or up backer, then you have access to a special podcast that I'm starting to do with John the Flick Pick. That's right, John Flickinger of the Flick Pick channel. We're having a lot of fun with the podcast, and so expect that every couple of weeks. And of course, also any extra behind the scenes, extra footage, extra interviews, extra solo podcasts as well, you will also have access to. And my special $25 and up backers on Patreon Subscribe Star, you have access to all of those things that I've listed. You also get a t-shirt. That's right, I will send you a t-shirt for your first month. And of course, you can also be featured on the Chosen to Valhalla live stream once a month. You get to be featured on the Odin's Movie Blog channel. It's always usually on a Sunday around 12 p.m. Eastern time. You get to join some lovely peeps and have some really great discussion with all of the Chosen of Valhalla and me with the live audience. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.